Thank you, choir. Did everybody feel the energy of that? Do you realize that that song and those words stimulate within you something that is ancient? It does. It really does. And those are the words that we have inherited that Jesus gave us when his disciples asked him to teach them how to pray. And we metaphysically interpret them, and they're beautiful. And so it's always wonderful just to listen to it again and let the vibration come up. And I'm very glad we did that today, because what we're doing, we did last week and we're doing again today, is we're talking about the metaphysical interpretation of the Ten Commandments. So, many of you were here last week. So we went through the first 5, which deal with the idea of our relationship with God. And then if you look at the second 5 of the Ten Commandments, they deal with our relationship with one another. That's how they're traditionally taught. But you do know there's more to the story. Okay. You do know there's more to the story. Okay, and you can't wait to hear it. Yes, okay. All right. Just to remind you, when we're talking about our relationship with God, I do encourage you to listen to the service. But there's one creator of the universe. God is energy. We should use the God-loving energy to create what we do want, not what we don't want. We include God in our worldly consciousness by including God in that 7th day of the week where we take time aside to work for the good of the whole. And we understand that if we have the guidance of God and the action of God, we will prosper and stay on this dimension long and do well. There's your first 5. Easy, huh? All right. I'm starting in the Aquarian Gospel, and this is going to be chapter 97. You guys ready?
Yes.
Ready. Okay. This commandment, each and every one of you would say, I have not done. Thou shalt not kill. Everybody's going, phew, that's the easy one. I have not done that one. Oh, yes, you have. Oh, yes, you have. You really have. So, I'm going to read to you what Jesus says. Jesus is talking to the people, and he's trying to enlighten them a little bit. And he says this. This is 97:7. The spirit of the law says, he who has a desire to kill or seeks revenge is angry with a man, and he must answer the judge. Anger, unresolved anger, makes you want to hurt or harm another. Okay? But Jesus says this. A person may desire to kill, but yet if he does not, he's not judged. But wait a minute. Oh, yes, he is. He who calls his brother a soulless vagabond shall answer to the counsel of the just. He who calls his brother a degenerate, a dog, fans into life the burning fires of hell within himself. In the higher law, the energy is what matters. So, this is what Jesus says. Your anger against anyone always diminishes their light. Do you realize that? Your anger diminishes their light, and you are taking their life force away from them. How often do we seek to take the life force from another? How often do we get angry with someone and get impatient? Now, most of you will say, well, I'm pretty kind and courteous to most people. We still have spousal issues. We still have in our mind the idea that my spouse should be able to handle 100% of my anxiety and angst. And if I'm angry at anyone in the world, I should be able to let my spouse know about it. And we take it out on the one we love the most. And what are we doing to that spouse when we do that? We're diminishing their life force. And we can actually watch it. If you're conscious enough when you're angry, and I happened to catch myself in the mirror one day when I was mad. Oh, my Lord. I got some fire in those eyes. You know, it would scare me to look at me. That was my son. But if you're conscious enough when you're angry, you can literally watch someone in front of you begin to wilt. And you can watch their life force begin to drain out of their body. And do you think you're killing them? Nah, they'll be fine. But what are you doing to their life force and their light? You're actually taking it bit by bit. All right. This takes away the sense of being and devalues your essence. It disconnects you from your spirit. When you're being yelled at, this is how you interpret it. It disconnects me from my spirit when angry eyes come at me. I get small and little. You don't love me anymore? What's wrong with me? Oh my God. When I am angry at someone, I'm disconnected from my spirit because I'm at them. Do you guys understand? All right. In the Bible, at some point, it says, don't worry about the man that can kill your body. Worry about the man that can kill your soul. And this is in the New Testament, KJV, King James Version. And our Aramaic scholars tell us that killing of your soul is to kill your sense of divinity within you, to kill the idea that you can achieve and that you are God's child. Don't worry about someone that can smack you. Worry about someone that diminishes you and takes that from you. That's killing. Do you guys get it? Do you think we as a country need to work on this? Do you think that we as individuals need to work on this? Even in our most deep relationships, to pause, to think, this is a child of God. To pause, to think, this is a child of God. I may be upset with what they're doing. I really may be. But I don't want to hurt or harm them. I might want to tell them how mad I am, how much I disagree with what they're doing, but I don't want to hurt or harm them. So to come back into that space of just breathing, speaking truth, and still seeing a child of God. You guys getting it? Spirit said this, anger destroys life. We could say anger kills. If we could say anger kills at any and every level, we would be getting it. When I am angry, I am destroying something. All right? Anger says somebody outside of me has my power. And I'm going to be really mad at whoever's got my power. But really, who is the only power? God. God is the only power. And if we can pull our sense of, even if I don't feel my power, I'm so mad. But I can bring in the idea that God is the only power. God power can flow through me. I can be at peace. Then I can know whatever is creating angst within me, God can flow through that too. And I can find a way to move. Do you understand? Okay. So, God is life. My brother is life. I honor the life of God, and I choose my power to be with me and God. I honor the life of my fellow man. I don't have to kill anyone's spirit to do this. God is life, and I am life. God is life, and I am life. Okay. Do you like the idea that you diminish people's power? Do you like the idea that someone can diminish your power? Shall we not kill any longer? Okay. Thou shalt not kill. Honor the life within all. The life within you and the life within all. Everyone has a choice. You can't make somebody choose what they don't want to choose. But you have the right to choose. Okay. All right. So that was thou shalt not kill. Let's see what else I want to say about that. Here we go. This is your instruction. Be merciful to your foes, bless those who slander you, do good to those who harm you, and pray for those who trample on your rights. Remember, you are children of God, who makes his sun to rise upon the evil and the good, who sends his rain upon the just and the unjust. But you, as children of the light, must lead the way. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Do good to all. Salute all. Be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. And in this, it means be inclusive. Perfect is to include all. Be inclusive as your Father in heaven is inclusive. Can we do that? Thou shalt not steal. You don't do that either, do you? No, you don't, do you? Actually, we actually do. Pen here, paperclip there. Oh, you didn't need that, did you? We help ourselves to little things without thinking about it. But not at the grocery stores. We don't do that. All right. In 98, verse 98, 17 through 18, Jesus says this. Before the eyes of law, a man to steal must take a thing that can be seen with the eyes of flesh, without the knowledge or consent of him to whom the thing belongs. The eyes of law says you have to have a thing you can see to take it. Okay? And Jesus says, I say he who in his heart desires to possess that which is not his own, and in his heart would deprive the owner of the thing without his knowledge or consent, is a thief. So he's taking them from things to energy. He's taking them from action to thoughts and feelings. And we know our thoughts create, right? So if you're thinking about something that would deprive someone of what's naturally theirs, and you may not act on it in a way that the law can deem you liable, but are you not still liable energetically? All right. So you are energy. So this is about stealing. You ready? Your energy. We're energy. I am a vibration. When you see something of someone else's that someone else has, they have it by right of vibration. It is their energy. It complements their field. When you take anything from anyone, even let's say it is something tangible, you take it from them, the first thing that happens to it is it must mutate to become part of you, because your vibration did not own it in the first place. If you could have had it, you would have had it. So you're taking something, and now that thing has to become complementary to you, or vibrates away from you. Somebody else takes it from you, you lose it, because you of your own consciousness could not hold it. You guys with me? Mm-hmm. So by divine right, we have what is ours, they have what is theirs. So it is still energy. I want you to really start thinking about energy. So many years ago, small, tiny example, we were doing InnerQuest, and I had a friend of mine who was a friend at a minute before this come to me with another lady, and she looked at me straight in the face, and she said to me, I'm going to steal everything you have taught me, and I'm going to go start a healing center in another state. And I don't care what you think. And I went, oh, gasp. I was shocked. I was young. I was hurt. I cried. Of course, I cried. So she and this other person moved to the other state, and do you think that the healing center took traction? Because it was not her energy. And because of the way she took it, and the attitude toward taking was that I am stealing your energy and doing this, and you can't. It had to vibrate through her. So it didn't really get off the ground at all. It was a no thing. Good example? Things have to move through us individually. All right. When we understand that consciousness is different person to person, not all things will vibrate with you as well as they vibrate with someone else. So, we can look at people and be inspired, but we really need to come back to what is mine by divine right. So, Jesus also said this. Things that men see not with the eyes of flesh are more worth than the things men can see. Energy. The energy is the causal thing and base building block of all things. That has more value than what you can see. When we take what we can see, we cannot own it if it is not ours. When we try to take energy, we cannot own that either if it is not ours. So, thou shalt not steal should actually be, you cannot steal. It's not possible to take something that belongs to somebody else and have it hold that same frequency when you bring it into your body. Now, how often do we do things like this ourselves? We see something and we want to, instead of using it as a point of desire, we use it as a point of, I myself can't create it, therefore I need to take it from someone else. We use it as a point of aggression. Okay, maybe you don't understand this, but let's talk about promotions in your business. This happens all the time in that way. Someone has a better job, you want the better job. Instead of saying, I'm just going to manifest that better job, you go, I'm going to get them out of the way. They're going to go. And I'm going to move into that space. Well, when you move in that space, you realize that you can't do the job they did the way they did it. You have to do it differently. Now are you getting it? Okay. So stealing is about having the attitude of taking that which is not yours. And when you steal, you have forgotten who is the source of all things. Why would God not give to you what you ask? If you have to steal, you have forgotten to ask. You've forgotten to ask. God is source in all things. All I have to do is ask. And then that which is mine by divine right can come to me. And it may not look like anyone else's, but it's perfect for me. Got it? Okay. Let's talk about coveting. I have that at the very last, but let's talk about coveting. That's the next one. Because that kind of goes in the same vibe, right? So coveting is when you have this extremely strong desire. Oh my God, I really want that. And you really feel like you can't have it. So we're not going to steal it, but we build up this extremely strong desire body. And then we covet what someone else has. It's when the desire body gets so big. And all we do is live in a dream that's unattainable. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's a dream that's unattainable. And what happens when you live in a dream that's unattainable? You get stuck. You get stuck. If you're coveting, your focus is not on you. Your focus is on what everybody else has. So a little nano story. Many years ago, before the last story, many years before that, I had just gotten into metaphysics, and it's just understanding the laws. And there was a girl that worked at the church. I loved the church I went to. I just adored it. I was there as much as I possibly could, which was all the time. And there's this girl that worked in the bookstore for free, and I didn't care for her. Well, I'm just a little whippersnapper. And it's like something about her just rubs me the wrong way. I just don't know. And then it dawned on me one day, I didn't like her because she had what I wanted. She had a wealthy husband, she didn't have to work, and she got to be in the bookstore all the time. She got to live at that church. And I went, oh my God, that's why I don't like her. I want what she has. So I started saying, okay, God, I'm not going to, because my coveting made me not like her. How crazy was that? So I said, okay, God, flow through me. I want what she has. I want the ability to be at a church all the time. I want the unlimited supply and support that I don't have to worry about making a living. I want that, God, with all my heart. So it didn't take very long. And the process started almost immediately. And within 5 years, I was at the church all the time. And I didn't get the wealthy husband, but I got the wealthy Heavenly Father, where I took no thought. I was walking in wealth, living in wealth. I didn't count the cha-ching every day. Did I make enough money? I came in and I worked, just like I was volunteering and didn't care. I was able to create what I coveted, but in my consciousness. Do you see? And I got the perfect partner. Didn't have him at the time. So everything worked beautifully for me to be satisfied, for me to have my dream become my reality. When we want something so badly that it stops us from forward motion, you're coveting. Okay? So we need to be able to see the energy behind the inspiration we're receiving. I really love what you have. I'm inspired by it. Now let that inspiration create a desire within me. Creation within me. Has everybody got it? So do you think we need to work on coveting? Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. So the next one is a really fun one. So we've done 3, right? No covet, no stealing, no killing. And we need to work on all of them. All right, here's the next one. It is, thou shalt not commit adultery. One of our favorites. So I'll tell you what Jesus says. This is in 98:1. The law forbids adultery. And do you guys know why the law forbade adultery? I will tell you, the law forbade adultery, yet prostitution was a thriving industry. Go figure. Okay? The law forbids adultery. But in the eyes of the law, adultery is an overt act, the satisfaction of sensual self outside the marriage bonds. And then he goes for many, many more verses to proceed to tell them what marriage bonds are. And he says it's energy, you guys. You guys think you're married, but a true energy of commitment comes when the love of God is present. And the love of God that brings two people together can hold that commitment. And if you're married for any other reason, you're committing adultery. That's what he says to them. Because you are outside of this beautiful energy of God's love. Later in the chapters, so probably a couple months later, one of his disciples says, is anybody married really for real? Because the reasons they got married were primarily financial. Women still didn't have the right to work. They did not have the right to own, and many of them were still considered property. So it was very complicated. But let's stick with the adultery issue. All right. Jesus talks about the energetic commitment that occurs when the love of God guides people into commitment. And how often does the love of God guide you into committing into something? Oh, I only see one head nodding. When God guides your soul and your heart to commit to a path or a journey, that is a commitment. Adultery occurs when you take your energy and you shift it elsewhere. I made a commitment, but hold that thought. I'm going to go play over here for a long time, and I'll think about coming back to the commitment I made. That is adultery. Do you understand? When your energy that you've committed to with your own conscious mind, committed to a journey, committed to a path. Do you know how many people commit to the seminary program? And it's a long journey. It's like 5 years. And as they're getting toward the 5th year, they're going, no, I just committed to being a student. I don't want to complete it. I really don't want to complete it. It's like, okay. Be a student then. In reality, I can't judge if that's true or not. But a lot of times we'll commit to something that's really huge. And as we start nearing the completion of it, we do get scared. We get scared of completing that. What would that mean? How will that change my life? All of us have some sort of God commitment. So, all of us are on a journey, a God-guided journey for us to become greater than we are. When we make a commitment to the God-guided journey, we're golden. When we start taking our energy to something that takes us away from that path, we're in that space of adultery. The Bible says you cannot ride two asses that are going in different directions at the same time. It also says, one of the favorite scriptures of my students, it also says you cannot serve two masters at the same time. But I will tell you this, a commitment to the love of God moving through my life is a broad commitment. It includes everything. It includes love here and love there, and I get to do this, and I get to create that, and blah, 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 blah. It's not like I become this myopic being where all I can do is do this one thing. But everything I do supports the one thing. That's me staying in a committed marriage to what I've picked. Everything I do supports that. Do you hear that? So I'm not doing things that are counterbalancing my commitment. That's adultery. Do you think we need to work on it? All right. Do you think we've mastered it yet? No. Okay. It's all energy. Everything is energy. Okay. The last one is easy, and I think we're okay with this one. Bearing false witness. Nobody gossips, do they? We validate every single fact before we open our mouths, don't we? We make sure we know what we're talking about.
Facebook is for.
Okay, this is what Jesus says. In the light of spirit law, deceit in any form is nothing but a lie. A man may lie by look or act, even in his silence he may deceive, and thus be guilty in the eyes of holy breath. Every time that we misrepresent anything about ourselves, a person, a situation, we are bearing false witness. Our energy is stating something that we know not to be true to be true. Our energy is stating something that is tangled now. It's tangled. Now, you have the right to say, I'm not clear on that yet. You have the right to say, I don't want to discuss that because what I say will not make sense even to me. You can say whatever you want to say. But when we start building energy to create an idea that we do not know is true, we're creating an idea that we have no idea about, we're actually taking energy within our own being and tangling it. And it's easy. So Bonnie can come in and say, oh, have you heard? Blah, blah, blah. And I'll go, no, tell me, blah, blah, blah. And then blah, blah, blah. Well, I remember blah, blah, blah. And then we can create a whole story about one person based on my history with the experiences I've had. I'm going to put those on that person, which the person never did. I'm going to remember all that stuff and talk about that. And now there's this whole tangled web about someone that's just called to say hello,
But tell them we don't do that.
But we don't do that. I was giving them an example. We really don't do that. We're too busy to do that. But are you guys following?
Yeah.
Bonnie and I don't do it, but do you? Think about it. Bearing false witness, putting out energy that does not vibrate at truth. And if God is truth, we have just separated from source. And we can say we don't do that. I don't do that. But unless we're impeccable with watching our words, we typically do it. Because that's what we're taught. We are taught. There was a season, and I don't know if it's true today because I'm not as well plugged in, but there was a season about 10 years ago where every sitcom that I watched was all about deceit. It was about lying to cover up something you've done. And those were the funny ones. Those were the comedies. Everything was about lying. It may not be true today. But in an environment that supports that, we have to be mindful then of what is coming from us. And anything that is not truth, be aware that you're tangling your own energy when you speak it. All right, I want to come to closure. Say, God, thank God we're done with 5.
Yeah.
Ready? Okay. So this is what Spirit said. We bring these last 5 as if they are a relationship between us and others, don't we? But they are actually a relationship with the God in you. You should not steal. God will give you anything you ask for. Why would you steal? Kill. God is life. All of life is God. Would you separate from your source? You and God are connected. God is life. God is truth, and truth is power. You wouldn't lie? Separates you from truth and power. God will bring you every dream you have. You don't have to covet. God will bring you every dream you have. Stay on your path. Stay on your mission. Stay on that beautiful, enjoyable, wonderful, God-filled cornucopia of abundance. Whatever you've chosen to invest your energy in, the more energy you invest, the more energy you have, the more joy you are, the more joy comes to you. Everything can come to you on your path. Stay faithful to your journey, your mission. These last 5 are about you and God. How do you maintain the connection with God, the all there is, while you are creating on this planet? Isn't it beautiful? Okay. So in our visitor packet, let's see if I can find it. Yes, I found it. All of our visitors got our 10 Commandments, metaphysical. So I'll just read you the last 5 that they see. God is your source in all things. God is life. Honor all life as part of God. Honor God and your brother and do nothing to hinder his path. Serve God by staying on your path. And honor your uniqueness as well as your brother's. God loves and provides for each one of you. You are the individuation of God. Pretty cool, huh? All right. So our beautiful 10 Commandments, and again, what if our world lived by these interpretations? What would we create? Harmony, peace, acceptance? Well, let's go within and anchor these. Father, Mother God, I ask that your light just engulf this whole room and all who hear these words. I ask that that great love, that love for each one of us just move through our bodies. And just open to feeling an energy coming into your heart from God. And that God love that's moving into you now, I would ask that you just let it spread through your body, through the auric field. And as it spreads, hear the peace. You are good. There is nothing you need to do but be light. Be love. As the energy moves, there is complete forgiveness in all of your history. Complete forgiveness for anything that you may have done that separated you from God. Complete acceptance of who you are in this moment. You are good and you are light. And just let that love of God permeate every cell. I always get to choose again. And for today, for this moment, I invite you just to choose to be in alignment with the love of God. I let this love of God flow through me now, and I choose to walk in this love of God. There is no past. Everything is gone. There is only choice. God is my source. God is truth. God brings all energy to my dreams and desires. I am the beloved child of God, unique individual. I choose God love. Feel a soft glow in your heart. And just feel this energy just moving through your consciousness. And just become aware of your chair. And realize that this energy is permeating the life you are here, right now in matter. I am in God love. Take a breath. Feel that beautiful light supporting you. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. I hope you could feel it anchoring within. Say, yay, God.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.